The scriptwriter had been excited about the new text-to-video applications. He had always dreamed of seeing his stories come to life in a way that was both accessible and visually stunning. The promise of these new tools seemed like the perfect solution to bridge the gap between his written words and the vibrant images he envisioned in his mind. He thought they could be a great tool for bringing his stories to life. The idea of transforming his scripts into videos without the need for a large production team or expensive equipment was incredibly appealing. He imagined the endless possibilities and the creative freedom these applications could offer. He spent weeks crafting the perfect script, eager to see his words transformed into moving pictures. Every day he would sit at his desk, surrounded by stacks of papers and his trusty computer, pouring his heart and soul into his work. He meticulously planned each scene, each character, and each dialogue, hoping to create something truly special. He imagined vibrant characters and captivating scenes, all thanks to this revolutionary technology. In his mind, he saw his characters come to life with vivid expressions and dynamic movements. The scenes were filled with color and emotion, capturing the essence of his storytelling in a way that words alone could not. However, the results were far from what he had hoped for. The videos were clunky, the characters lacked emotion, the animations were stiff and unnatural, failing to convey the depth and nuance of his carefully crafted script. It was a stark contrast to the vivid images he had envisioned. The magic of his writing was lost in translation. The emotional impact of his story was diluted by the poor quality of the animations. He felt a deep sense of disappointment as he watched his hard work reduced to something that felt lifeless and uninspired. Disappointment washed over him as he realized the technology wasn't advanced enough to capture the nuances of his storytelling. He had hoped for a tool that would enhance his creativity, but instead it seemed to stifle it. The limitations of the technology became painfully clear, and he began to doubt whether it could ever truly do justice to his vision. He had pinned his hopes on this technology, believing it would make filmmaking easier and more accessible. He had envisioned a future where anyone with a story to tell could bring it to life with just a few clicks. But the reality was far more complicated, and the dream of effortless creativity seemed to slip further away with each failed attempt. But the reality was a far cry from his dreams. The gap between his expectations and the actual results was disheartening. He had imagined a seamless process where his ideas would flow effortlessly from his mind to the screen, but instead he was met with frustration and disappointment. The experience left him questioning his abilities and the feasibility of his ambitions. He wondered if he had been too naive in his expectations, or if he simply lacked the skills to make the most of the technology. The doubts began to creep in, and he found himself at a crossroads, unsure of how to move forward. But despite the setbacks, he knew he couldn't give up. The passion for storytelling that had driven him this far was still burning brightly. He resolved to keep pushing forward, to keep experimenting and learning, in the hopes that one day he would find a way to bring his stories to life in the way he had always dreamed. He began to explore other tools and techniques, seeking out new ways to enhance his storytelling. He read articles, watched tutorials, and connected with other creators who shared his passion. Slowly but surely, he started to see progress, and the dream that had once seemed so distant began to feel within reach once more. The journey was far from over, but he was determined to keep moving forward. With each new discovery, his confidence grew, and the hope that had once been dashed began to rekindle. He knew that the road ahead would be challenging, but he was ready to face it head-on, driven by the unwavering belief that his stories deserved to be told. Doubt began to creep into the scriptwriter's mind like a persistent shadow. Had he been too naive in thinking these tools could replace the artistry of filmmaking? Was he foolish to believe he could compete in a world increasingly reliant on technology? He looked at his handwritten notebooks filled with stories yet to be told. The pages seemed to mock his aspirations, whispering tales of unrealized potential. The rejection from film studios, coupled with the disappointing results of the text-to-video applications, fueled his self-doubt. He wondered if his words would ever find their way onto the screen. The thought of abandoning his passion crossed his mind. It was a tempting escape from the sting of disappointment. Yet amidst the doubt and disappointment, a flicker of resilience remained. The scriptwriter realized that giving up would be a disservice to himself and the stories burning within him. He knew he needed to take a step back to breathe and reevaluate his approach. He decided to put aside the allure of instant gratification offered by technology. Instead, he returned to the basics, to the heart of what made him fall in love with storytelling in the first place. He picked up his pen and started writing again, not for any competition or technology, but for the pure joy of it. He reminded himself that every great screenwriter, every celebrated director had faced their share of setbacks. He drew inspiration from their journeys, finding solace in their perseverance. He understood that achieving his goals wouldn't be easy or quick. The path ahead was filled with obstacles and challenges that would test his resolve and commitment. He knew that success was not a destination but a journey, one that required constant effort and perseverance. Each step forward, no matter how small, was a victory in itself, a testament to his dedication and hard work. It would require dedication, patience, and an unwavering belief in himself and his craft. He spent countless hours honing his skills, reading every book he could find, and practicing his art with relentless determination. He knew that mastery was not achieved overnight, but through consistent effort and a willingness to learn and grow. Every moment spent working on his craft was an investment in his future, a step closer to achieving his dreams. The scriptwriter embraced this realization, seeing it not as a burden but as a challenge he was ready to face. He welcomed the difficulties and setbacks, knowing that they were an integral part of the journey. Each challenge was an opportunity to learn and improve, to become better and stronger. He approached every task with a positive attitude and a determination to succeed, no matter how tough the road ahead seemed. He immersed himself in the world of film, studying the works of masters, analyzing their techniques, and learning from their successes and failures. He watched countless films, dissecting each scene to understand the nuances of storytelling and character development. He read books and articles, absorbing as much knowledge as he could. He knew that to become a great scriptwriter, he had to learn from the best and apply those lessons to his own work. And learning from their successes and failures, he attended workshops, joined writers' groups, and sought feedback on his work. Hungry to grow and evolve, he understood the importance of community and collaboration, of learning from others and sharing his own experiences. He valued the insights and perspectives of his peers and mentors, knowing that they could help him see his work in a new light and push him to improve, and sought feedback on his work, hungry to grow and evolve. He was open to criticism and eager to learn from it, seeing it as a valuable tool for growth. He revised his work tirelessly, always striving to make it better. He knew that every piece of feedback, no matter how small, was a stepping stone towards his ultimate goal. He was committed to continuous improvement, never settling for mediocrity. He knew that every step he took, no matter how small, brought him closer to his dream. He celebrated each milestone, no matter how insignificant it seemed, knowing that it was a sign of progress. He understood that success was a series of small victories, each one building on the last. He kept moving forward, one step at a time, with his eyes firmly set on his goal. He was determined to prove that while technology could be a tool, it was the heart and soul poured into a story that truly resonated with audiences. He embraced the advancements in technology, using them to enhance his work, but never losing sight of the human element. He believed that the most powerful stories were those that came from the heart, that spoke to the human experience in a profound and meaningful way. It was the heart and soul poured into a story that truly resonated with audiences. He poured his passion and creativity into every script, crafting stories that were not only entertaining but also deeply moving. He wanted to touch people's hearts, to make them feel and think. He knew that if he could do that, he would have achieved his goal. And so, he continued on his journey with determination and hope, knowing that the road to success was long, but worth every step. Even though he wasn't actively pitching or using technology, the scriptwriter never stopped writing. His mind was a constant whirl of ideas, a never-ending stream of creativity that flowed through him like an unstoppable river. He would often find himself lost in thought, his fingers itching to put pen to paper, to capture the fleeting moments of inspiration that danced through his mind. In his mind, he continued to direct his stories, visualizing each scene with vivid clarity, hearing the dialogue as if the characters were speaking directly to him. He could see the settings, The intricate details of each location and the subtle nuances of his characters' expressions. He felt the emotions he wanted to evoke, the joy, the sorrow, the tension, and the relief. Each emotion was a brushstroke on the canvas of his imagination, adding depth and color to his stories. He carried his notebook everywhere, a constant companion that held the keys to his creative world. It was a repository of his thoughts, a treasure trove of ideas waiting to be explored. Whenever an idea struck him, he would jot it down, capturing the essence of the moment before it slipped away. His notebook was filled with sketches, snippets of dialogue, and fragments of scenes, each one a piece of the larger puzzle he was trying to solve. He refused to let the flame of his passion dwindle. His determination was unwavering, his resolve unbreakable. He knew that his dreams were worth fighting for, and he was willing to put in the work to make them a reality. He found inspiration in everyday life, in the mundane and the extraordinary. The world around him was a rich tapestry of stories waiting to be told, and he was always on the lookout for the next thread to weave into his narrative. In the conversations he overheard, the people he encountered, and the fleeting moments of connection, he found the seeds of his stories. Each interaction was a spark that ignited his imagination, fueling his creative fire. The world unfolding around him was a constant source of inspiration. Every experience, every observation became fuel for his imagination, enriching his narratives and adding depth to his characters. He drew from his own experiences, his own emotions, and his own observations, weaving them into the fabric of his stories. His characters were reflections of the people he met, the places he visited, and the emotions he felt. Each character was a piece of his soul, a fragment of his own identity. He poured his heart into his work, adding depth and complexity to his characters, making them come alive on the page. He knew that the right opportunity would present itself when the time was right. He was patient, knowing that his hard work and dedication would eventually pay off. Until then, he would continue to hone his craft, nurture his creativity, and keep the dream alive. He was committed to his journey, knowing that every step he took brought him closer to his goal. His dreams were his guiding star, a beacon of hope that lit his path. He would follow that star no matter where it led, knowing that his passion and perseverance would see him through.